Maya had lived in the same city all her life. She knew its skyline, its sounds, and its pace, or at least she thought she did. Every morning she followed the same rhythm: a quick breakfast, a crowded bus, and the rush of office life that left little room for surprise. The city, to her, had become predictable, a machine of movement and noise. But one ordinary Tuesday, something unexpected happened. Maya missed her bus. Frustrated, she decided to walk to work instead of waiting for the next one. It was a longer route, winding through streets she rarely visited. As she passed a narrow alley between two tall buildings, she noticed something unusual: a patch of green hidden behind an old wooden gate. Curiosity pushed her forward. She opened the gate and stepped inside. To her surprise, it was a small garden, peaceful, bright, and silent except for the sound of birds. There was a tiny pond with fish gliding beneath water lilies, and a single wooden bench under a flowering tree. For a moment, the city noise disappeared. Maya sat down and took a deep breath. It felt like she had stepped into another world, a secret space that existed right in the middle of the chaos. As she sat there, an elderly man approached, carrying a small bag of seeds. "You found the pocket garden," he said kindly. "Not many people notice it. Everyone's always rushing somewhere." Maya smiled. "It's beautiful. I've lived here for years and never knew this place existed." The man laughed. "The city hides its beauty for those who never look, but for those who pause, it reveals everything." Those words stayed with her for the rest of the day. A new habit the next weekend, Maya decided to walk again. She left her phone in her bag, turned off notifications, and just wandered. Without realizing it, she started a new habit, exploring the city's hidden gems, one street at a time. She discovered an old bookstore tucked behind a bakery. It smelled of paper and time, filled with shelves that leaned slightly under the weight of forgotten stories. The owner, a cheerful woman with silver hair, told her that the shop had been there for 40 years. "We don't advertise," the woman said. "The right people always find us." Maya smiled, remembering the man's words: "The city reveals itself to those who pause." Her discoveries didn't stop there. One rainy afternoon, she found a small cafe that played jazz music on vinyl records. The barista told her that every Friday night, local poets gathered there to read their work. Maya began attending those sessions, listening to strangers pour their emotions into words. It was raw, honest, and beautiful, another hidden corner of her city's soul. Rediscovering the city as weeks passed, Maya's notebook began to fill. She sketched the small details. She noticed murals painted on forgotten walls, mosaic tiles at the entrance of old apartment buildings, a clock tower that chimed slightly out of rhythm. One day, she followed the sound of a violin echoing through a subway tunnel. A young musician stood there, eyes closed, playing passionately for an audience that never stopped. Maya placed a few coins in his case and stayed to listen. When the song ended, he opened his eyes and smiled. Most people just walk by, he said softly. Not today, Maya replied. That moment reminded her how much beauty existed in the spaces everyone ignored, the corners of streets, the reflections in puddles, the conversations overheard at park benches. The city wasn't just buildings and traffic. It was alive, layered with stories. The lesson of stillness. Over time, Maya began sharing her experiences online, photographs of street arts, stories about small shops, and poems inspired by what she saw. Her posts gained attention from others who also lived in the same city but had never seen it that way. One message read, "I walked past that garden for years and never knew it was there. Thank you for reminding me to look." That message made Maya realize something deeper. It wasn't just about discovering hidden places. It was about discovering a new way to see. The act of slowing down had changed her perspective. The city had always been full of wonders. She had just been too busy to notice. She learned that beauty doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it waits quietly, hoping someone will take a moment to look closer. A special discovery one afternoon, while exploring the old part of town, Maya stumbled upon a narrow staircase that led down into what looked like an underground passage. She hesitated, then decided to follow it. At the bottom, she found a small community art gallery run by volunteers. The walls were covered with paintings made by local artists, people who painted their dreams, memories, and struggles. One of the artists, a young man named Theo, told her that the gallery was once an abandoned storage room. They had cleaned it up and turned it into a creative space. "We wanted to bring art back to the streets," Theo said, "to remind people that beauty belongs to everyone." Maya spent hours there, talking with artists and admiring their work. That night, she wrote in her notebook, "Every hidden place I find isn't just a location. It's a heartbeat of the city." A changed perspective. Months later, Maya realized she no longer felt tired of the city. The noise didn't bother her. The rush didn't overwhelm her. Every sound, every corner, every mural now told a story. The same streets she once thought were dull had become full of meaning. She began organizing small walking tours, guiding others to discover the city's hidden gems, the tiny parks, forgotten bridges, and hidden staircases that led to rooftops with breathtaking views. People who joined her walks often said the same thing. "I can't believe this was here all along." Maya would smile and reply, "It's always been here. We just needed to slow down enough to see it." It was supposed to be an ordinary Saturday, one of those slow mornings when the city moved lazily under the warm glow of the weekend sun. I had planned to meet a friend for coffee, but when she cancelled at the last minute, I found myself wandering through the streets with no real destination. My headphones played softly in my ears, the world around me fading into a rhythm of footsteps and passing conversations. As I turned down a quiet side street, something caught my attention, an old, elegant building with tall windows and ivy crawling up its stone walls. Above the entrance was a faded sign that read, City Museum of Memory and Time. I paused. I'd lived in this city for years, yet I had never noticed this place before. It didn't appear on tourist maps or social media posts. Curiosity stirred inside me. With nothing else planned for the day, I decided to step inside. The door creaked softly as I pushed it open. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of dust and paper, the scent of old stories waiting to be heard. A woman at the front desk looked up and smiled. "Welcome," she said. "Admission is free today. You're just in time for something special." I raised an eyebrow. Something special. She only smiled mysteriously. "You'll see." The museum was nearly empty. Faint music echoed from distant rooms, and the polished wooden floor creaked gently under my steps. Unlike modern museums, this one felt intimate, almost personal, as if it had been built not to impress, but to remember. The first gallery was filled with clocks. Dozens of them, all shapes and sizes from pocket watches to giant grandfather clocks ticking in quiet harmony. A small plaque read, "Every tick is a heartbeat of history." I stood still, listening. Each clock seemed alive, keeping time not just for the present, but for all the moments that had ever passed within those walls. The unexpected exhibit in the next room, I found something unusual. Instead of traditional paintings or sculptures, there were letters. Hundreds of handwritten notes displayed in glass cases. Some were yellowed and torn, others neat and modern. A sign explained that these were letters never sent messages people had written to lost friends, to strangers, to future generations, or even to themselves. I leaned closer to one written in elegant script. "Dear me, if you are reading this years from now, I hope you've learned to slow down. The world rushes you, but your heart knows its own pace. Don't forget the small things. They are the real treasures." Something in that message struck me deeply. It felt as though it had been written for me. I moved slowly from letter to letter, reading fragments of human lives, apologies, dreams, confessions. Some were heartbreaking, others humorous. Each note revealed a glimpse of someone's story frozen in time. By the time I reached the end of the room, I felt like I had traveled through hundreds of lives. "The guide beautiful, isn't it?" a voice said behind me. I turned to see an older man, tall and thin, wearing a simple grey vest. He had kind eyes that seemed to carry both wisdom and sadness. "Yes," I replied. "I've never seen a museum like this before." He nodded. "Most people haven't. This place was built to remind us that history isn't just made of kings and wars. It's made of ordinary people, small moments, and forgotten feelings." "Are you the curator?" I asked. He smiled. "Something like that. I take care of the stories." We walked together to the next exhibit, a dimly lit room filled with personal belongings. A child's drawing, an old camera, a cracked violin, a worn-out travel diary. These objects, he explained, were all donated by families who didn't want their memories to disappear. Every item has a story. He pointed to a faded photograph of a young couple standing by a river. They met during a flood evacuation in 1962. He gave her his coat. She never forgot. Their children donated this photo after they passed away, so their story could live on. I stood there in silence, feeling an unexpected wave of emotion. The hidden room. Just as I was about to leave, the man said quietly, "There's one more place." Most visitors miss it. He led me to a small staircase that descended into a basement room. The walls were lined with mirrors, and in the center stood a single display case. Inside was an old leather-bound book. I leaned closer. The sign beside it read, "Reflections, a guest memory journal." Visitors can write about something they want to remember, the man explained, or something they don't want to forget. He handed me a pen. "Would you like to write something?" I hesitated. My life had felt so ordinary lately, just work, messages, and scrolling screens. What could I possibly add to this collection of human moments? Still, I opened the book. Between pages filled with thousands of entries, I found a blank space and began to write. Today I walked into a museum I didn't know existed. I came looking for nothing and found something I didn't know ID, lost the feeling of wonder. When I looked up, the old man was gone. The room was empty, and only the sound of my breathing filled the silence. The exit. As I left the museum, the afternoon sun had turned golden. The streets outside felt different, brighter somehow. I glanced back, expecting to see the museum sign again, but from that angle, it seemed to disappear behind the shadows of nearby buildings. Had it always been there? I wasn't sure anymore. On my way home, I couldn't stop thinking about the people behind those letters, the objects, the stories. The museum hadn't just shown me history, it had shown me humanity. What I learned in the days that followed, I began noticing small things again. The laughter of strangers, the smell of old books, the quiet kindness in people's eyes. That museum had changed the way I saw the world. It made me realize that every person is a living museum filled with memories, mistakes, and dreams. We carry stories within us that may never be told unless someone takes the time to listen. And sometimes, all it takes to rediscover that truth is an unexpected discovery, a hidden place, a forgotten letter, a quiet moment that whispers, "You are part of the story too."